All right, I am back. We're gonna try and finish this page up. I had to take care of a few things. I wanted to see if the stream was actually how it was working and stuff like that. So let's see. Curious. Nope. Nope. Can I see this? No. There we go. All right. So let's finish this page up. I think when I left, let's get on the right layer here. I was working on this mask. And I want to have some of the oozy bits of this guy's face come into the mask here. And I'm not gonna do, I don't want to do like a perfect recreation of this mask that I copied from page 5. I want to get it close. I will not be getting attacked in this stream by my kitten, though. Went ahead and got him out of the room. He's just gonna have to deal with it for now. Let's go ahead and get those filled in. So it's kind of weird about me going back and putting this mask part into the story. I was initially inspired to put this mask in. I was listening to a podcast, and I was listening to Monsters Among Us in this, and one of the call-ins that I was listening to was someone talking about opening a door to their friend's parents' room, and the room was filled with all these like masks, and he heard like a bunch of voices and stuff like that, and for whatever reason, that made me go, "Oh man, I should put a mask on that guy, and then it should rip his face off, or his face will rip off." And then I've watched several other, listened to or watched several other things on YouTube since then that I did not like seek out. It just kind of happened, but that were all about like haunted masks or something like that. And I don't think the mask in this story is going to be haunted. I think this is just like something that's happened because of a ritual that this guy was involved in, and we'll kind of explore that later on. But I thought it was funny. So I'm thinking I want this guy's head to be kind of similar to the mask face. So I want to get this in position. Now that I've got this drawing here, let's move that drawing from earlier over here. And it's really just to so I got the size pretty much right down here. But of course his face is going way further down. Let's see if I can mess around with that a little bit. I'm okay with it going down some, but this is kind of a little ridiculous. Which again is fine. I definitely want some exaggeration. Let's see. You know what? I'm just gonna redraw this part. I think it just might look a little more horrific if it's actually not as exaggerated. Let's move this up a little bit. Oh, you know what? I know. Let's see. Turn the opacity back up so I can see what I'm doing. Yeah, this is looking creepier. Again, I'm going to be adding a bunch of this stuff in the inking process. You know what? So this would actually be going. That. Really don't need that anymore. All right. Let's start trying to kind of piece this together. I have a feeling I'm going to be pulling the old eraser tool out a bunch on this. I think I'm going to want some pretty heavy areas of black in here. I mean, really just to kind of show how squishy it is. Let's get this. Teeth and mouth done. Yeah, I'm liking the look of this way better than what I originally had penciled. Which was much more exaggerated. And normally that exaggeration really goes a long way when I'm doing like it's kind of like gross, horrific scenes, but I think this works better. Speaking of dark, horrific scenes, ooh, that doesn't work. Where am I? I got a hole here somewhere. Ah, there you are. There we are. I just received in the mail yesterday Town of Pigs by Hideshi Hino. Horror mangaka artist, real famous. At least in Japan. There was some old reprinted stuff of his in English. I say reprinted. There's some old stuff of his in English, but it is very hard to get a hold of. And it's real pricey. But Starfruit Books has started putting out some of his stuff. And so I picked up Town of Pigs. Now, the book looks great, and I can't wait. I can't wait to read it. I love Japanese horror. And Hideshi Hino just looks right up my alley. I've been eyeing his stuff for a while. He also, I mean, some of his stuff almost looks a little like he has almost kind of a cute style with grotesque. Like I don't know, kind of like some chibi sort of stuff, along with this grotesque look. Um, which is kind of similar to what I do sometimes. So I'm looking forward to diving into it. And what what's crazy is I'm not. I ordered this book over a year and a half ago. Starfruit, like I said, Starfruit Books is putting these out, and when I got it, it said pre-order, so maybe it just took this long to get out. I'm really not sure. I'm not someone who calls and complains, and something's got to be really bad. And I guess waiting for a year and a half for a book, maybe that's bad. But like I said, I don't know. It might have just taken that long for them to get the pre-orders together. I have no idea. Um, but I had honestly forgotten about this book until last week when I got the notification in my shop app that it was tracking the shipment, that a shipping label had been made. Yeah, I think I'm going to be using the eraser tool a lot on this part. And actually, it's going to kind of come into it kind of sketchy there. I can cut away. Let's get the rest of his body drawn. I'm gonna make this whole part kind of sketchy. All the way down that other panel. That's the one thing I've noticed, like, as far as, like, drawing sketchy and kind of trying to fix it. I've noticed with a lot of mangaka, like, if I watch Manbin and I'm watching them draw, and of course it depends, but especially some of these guys that just draw so fast. You can see where they're just doing so much of the drawing in the inks, and they'll get really fast and sketchy. Cool. I really thought I was gonna have a hole somewhere. I'm gonna have screen tones over these robes and hat. Which I might go ahead and put some of those screen tones in now so I can kind of see what it's going to look like. Yeah, I want to get real messy with this. I think that might be the way to do it. Like I said, I want to add Just wanted to look really goopy. I think I'm probably going to end up erasing some of these lines. I'm just kind of going nuts right now just so I can go in and then carve some of this out. But then I also want to get those screen tones in here so I can kind of see what I'm playing with. Thing with making something look all stretchy is you want to have this, at least for me, I want to have these lines that look they're like just about to snap. Alright, let's get the screen tones under here so I can see what I'm looking at. We're doing a 10%. Now, I'm not using, I've mentioned this before in streams, I'm not using Clip Studio's built-in screen tone effects. It's not because I don't like them. I do. But I've had a hard time finding a really good setting for them. And so I've been using other screen tone brushes that I can get off of like True Grit Texture Supply or Retro Supply Company. And they work really good. But it is a little slower because I actually have to brush it all in. If I was using the built-in ones with Clip Studio, I could use the paintbrush. Let's see. I think I'm actually going to use, I think I've got some splatters. Here's some ink splatter. Let's make a new layer. I'm going to do it above. I can only barely see that. Let's see. chocolate might be a little better. I know I'm going to be adding them a bunch in. Normally, I'm a lot more talkative with inking, but this is requiring a lot more thinking. Just kind of cutting away at this stuff till it looks right. I'm gonna make some like kind of droplet looking marks or like spray marks. Spermy looking marks. It's really kind of one of the more horrific drawings I've done. I really kind of I shoot for a all ages audience kind of when I'm doing my stuff. But I think the mileage can vary on that. Um, an image like this is probably delving a little more teen to adult. But how I always kind of tell people, you know, their mileage is going to vary. I do get asked every once in a while by parents when I'm at shows if my stuff is appropriate for kids, and I think the vast majority of it is. But that's for me. I always tell them they need to make, you know, they need to make their own decision. I shoot for everyone to enjoy it, but image like this is definitely probably probably a little too adult for kids. just want to get some more texture on this robe. I don't want to ignore it. It's not the focal point of this drawing by any means. I think that's clearly the guy's face getting ripped off. Woo! A lot of moire going on there. But that being said, I don't want to ignore the robe. The hard part with an image like this is, when am I done? I want to just keep adding gross bits. Let's see. Let's get rid of the pencils. Pretty happy with this. Maybe a little more spermy spray coming off of here. Maybe a little more from the rip coming from the mask. Oh, we are quickly approaching spooky season. This image works good for that. If you've been in a Walmart or some sort of department store recently, according to them, we're already in the spooky season. Already seeing Halloween stuff. I'm already seeing Halloween decorations up for people. Which, I don't care. I love Halloween. I love the holidays, actually. It's one of my favorite times of the year. I love, just Halloween through the end of the year. That time of year can be kind of stressful. Getting gifts and all that crap, for sure. But I still like it. But Halloween for sure. I love watching horror movies. I really need to watch. I need to watch some more horror movies. I'm just trying to look at this a little shrink down, see how it's going to look. Trying to get it without it doing a moire pattern. I really think it'll be alright when I print it, because I've used this brush before and it's come out fine. Alright, let's get the second panel done. Ugh, I hate that. You would think, as much as I draw Audrey and Dad, and as long as I've been doing it, this wouldn't be a problem. It always is. Dad, I'm never very concerned with drawing. Usually knock it out pretty fast, but I still have issues drawing Audrey. Oh. I'm gonna draw this hair first. Do I like that? I don't know. We'll see. I've tried to get a lot wispier with Audrey's hair. I've gone through some different phases drawing Audrey's hair. I've had it where it's like real simple. I've had it where it's like really messy. And I think I'm back to more of a kind of simple method with it, maybe a cross between. I think I've talked about this in an episode of Comics in the Making before, but if you I really believe if you really want to develop your style, quickly and develop the looks of your characters quickly, do some sort of regular series. It doesn't have to be every day or every week or whatever, but draw them frequently enough, and with a deadline enough. Fuck that up. To where you're almost drawing characters with without even thinking about it. And then you'll look back. You'll look back after a few months, maybe a year, and go, "Wow, that's just." I draw these characters completely different now because you're doing it without really thinking about it. And I do that sometimes, especially like if I go back and I look at pictures of Audrey and Dad from kind of the start of what I would consider this series. They are completely different. Especially, boy, if I go back to, I'm trying to think. I did some kitty litter stories with just Audrey and Dad and Sophie, who's like my mad scientist cat. And then I started doing a bunch. I mean, what would become this without Sophie? I guess the first ones in the series would be what I was calling Slackmatic Adventures. first book for that was Cursed Directions, which had a few short stories in it. It was pretty short. And it is long out of print. But I think when it really started feeling like when the characters really took shape was when I did a story. It was two stories really. I did one called Back in Beck, which is a terrible name for a story because it's really Back in BEK, which stands for Black Eyed Kids, which only makes sense if you're really into weird paranormal phenomenon. But I didn't care. I was gonna go with the pun of, Back in Black, but Back in Beck. Anyway, I think that's when we first really start seeing the true signs of Dad being written as more of an idiot. And I think when I did it, I was actually doing it more in lines with that story, where it was kind of Dad was being brainwashed by the Black Eyed Kids. But it was really fun to write it that way. And then the next story after that was The Artist's Curse. And I never printed this. I released it online. And I know I've had some people tell me that's one of their favorite Audrey and Dad stories. And honestly, it's probably one of my favorites too. I thought it was pretty funny. But that story is I remember just completely acknowledging to myself, I'm gonna write this as if Dad's a complete idiot, and Dad's a complete idiot, and Audrey's gonna fix whatever. And the rest is history. That is the wrong tool. Let's get the balloon tail. There we go. Let's make it. There we go. I usually like to curve my balloon tails. But when it's something like someone screaming or whatever, that's when I kind of do the sharp ones. I'm adding a layer above this balloon. Let's add some lines in here. Thinking that I don't think I want to do the designs necessarily in the background here, but I am going to add some of the floor. Just give it a little something. You know, I might add a little bit. I want it to be super faint though. Kind of see it curve in up the side of these cave walls. Give a little idea of perspective. We'll see where this story takes us after this. I haven't been thinking about it too much. I knew this page was when I did page 5 and we had the scene with the mask. I was like, okay, well, for sure the next page is going to be a big old gross reveal. But still really have no idea where this is going to go. I have a few ideas. But who knows? That looks good enough. It really isn't. I don't want it to be super detailed because I want the focus. I want the focus to be on this. All right. So but this is too white for this second panel. So we're gonna do some speed tones. This is that. Right, so we're going to create a ruler. This is the radial line ruler. Let's add another layer. And what this is going to do is every time, as long as this ruler is showing, every time I put a line down, it's going to follow that radius. And this is how I like to create speed lines in Clip Studio. Of course, Clip Studio is made for making comics and manga, so they have some canned speed lines in there where you can just kind of drop them into panels and rasterize them and then erase them. I used one of those on page 3 of this comic. I used the gloom option. But for just doing regular speed lines like this, I like to draw them. I just think it looks a lot better than the canned ones. I could be wrong. You know what? I need to add screen tones to the second panel too. To Dad's shirt. I'm trying to see how far I want to go with these lines. I love doing speed lines. I don't think I've done a comic this year, a story this year that I haven't thrown speed lines in for something. I've been putting speed lines into comics since I was a kid, since before I really saw manga or knew what manga was. Because the first speed lines I saw would have been in like Rob Liefeld comics and stuff like that. Because they were in Eric Larson. They were using that stuff. Some of that manga language. Although I've heard them interviewed. I don't even think they realized so much that they were using that sort of comics language. Looks good. All right, so I'm going to turn that radial line off. Let's get the screen tone. Whoops, that's the wrong brush. There we go. Let's erase some. Speed lines off of Audrey's hair. Dad's hair. That's good. Alright, so I'm going to make a layer above this. We're almost done with this. I'm choosing a white. And what I've been doing on these pages, I've been using this brush called Ink Fader. Which is a True Grit texture supply brush. It's a texture brush for one of their packs. I can't remember which one. But I want this story to look like a bad kind of photocopied print, grungy sort of look. And in the story so far, I've also established that these walls with the symbols on them in this cave, they're kind of glowing. And so incidentally, it's helped express that. But pretty much any big areas of black, I'm going in and I'm just using this white ink fader over it to give it kind of a crummy look. Which could backfire when I get it printed. I already have a plan to. I'm hoping to get it printed through Best Value Copy. And their quality is almost it's always great. So it's kind of funny that I'm going to be doing this to make it look bad. Alright, we're going to do the page numbers. But I want this to be all the way at the top above the frame. We're going to move the text all the way up there. Let's get back on the G pen. So we've got the line for that. Now we're going to make it white. We're going to draw. Over that. And there we go. I think we've got a finished page 6 of a story I still don't have a name for. I just don't know where it's going. So when I get to the end of it, I'll reanalyze it. Right now, it's streamed of consciousness. So if you like this, hopefully I'm going to be streaming page 7 tomorrow. We'll see. I wanted to stream this yesterday, and that just wasn't happening. So I'm going to try and stream page 7 tomorrow. But if you want to see this page in all its glory, I'm going to be posting it on my Patreon shortly. Actually, I keep forgetting to post page 5, so I've got to get that up there. So that's all going to get on my Patreon. And that's patreon.com /Slackmatic, SLACKMATIC. You can join for just $2. $2 a month. And you can get all my stuff as soon as it's done. But until the next stream, I will see you shortly. Hopefully tomorrow. All right.